The brain that you're going to have at 70 is being built today, not later, today. So this video today matters if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. Because here's the part that most people miss. You can't out supplement, you can't out exercise, you can't out meditate decades worth of wrong daily inputs, daily rituals, habits that you stack, Groundhog Day style, year upon year, and eventually you're a product in your later years, a product of all of those decisions that you've just compounded. This year, the American Heart Association named brain health. It said that brain health is shaped across an entire lifespan by the quality of sleep you get, by how you take care of your gut, which represents, if you don't know, about 90% of your immune system. And it's where a lot of the mental and physical problems start to arise because we start to throw ourselves off in the gut. A lot of diseases originate there. In addition, how we manage the two silent killers of our generation, which is stress and inflammation. So remember, if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, the typically when you're younger, you're designed really to build. You have bountiful energy. You're going to be building. What are you building, and how are you going to enjoy the fruits of your labor in the back half of your life, in the second half of your life? And I've worked with countless people that ignore the recommendations and then they just keep doing what they're doing. And all of a sudden they develop a heart valve issue or a back problem or whatever it may be. And they reach their later years and they can't really enjoy the life that they built. They built all this wealth. They want to travel. They want to do this or that, but they just don't have the mental capacity or the physical capability to really enjoy the things that they want in their life. So I want you to pay attention. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 8 factors that are quietly writing your brain's future and how you can tilt the scale in your favor with a simple daily practice. So let's get into it. As usual, if you like this video, please share it with somebody. Give us a like and subscribe. It really helps us to reach more people and continue to create content. We put out right now 1 video per day. So if you do find value, you want to wait, that's fine. So if you don't know, I'm Dr. B, Dr. Brian Ramos. I am the creator of Zen Brain Academy. I'm also a co-owner and head of research and development at Tomorrow, and you can see it down here, but Simply Nootropics. I'm really designed to teach people how they can build from the inside out. So both of my books, The Art of Stress-Free Living and Inside Out Calm, have inside out in them. The Art of Stress-Free Living is reprogram your life from the inside out, and obviously Inside Out Calm. And so the idea is that everything that you are is a product of what you're building on a day-to-day basis. Build the right rituals. That's why at Tomorrow we say is your one daily ritual for complete cellular nutrition. Your cells are getting proper nutrition, then guess what? Your metabolism is going to operate better. You're going to lose weight quicker. You're going to think better. You're going to perform better if you're an athlete, so on and so forth. And in terms of brain decline, remember, it's not something that happens to you later. It's something that's you're building right now. You either protect it or you lose it, and you're going to feel it later on. And of course, at Zen Brain Academy, we go in depth to teach you how you can protect yourself from the many dangers that exist in the digital age, how we're being negatively impacted, not just by digital devices and the AI-powered algorithms, but by our habits that we have on a day-to-day basis. Because remember, everything that we do is compounding. The story that you're telling your body and your brain will be reflected sometime down the road. It is a law. It is the law of action and reaction. Whatever actions you're taking now, you will see the reaction at some point. Brain aging is a problem, not for you now, for the future you. And the problem is that most people will just shove it off, push it off. They'll assume that their memory, focus, and clarity are going to decline. I did put out a video on the aging myth recently, a couple of videos ago. And there I talked about how aging is in a steady decline, that even when you're older, you can do reversals, but it requires you to take action. And so oftentimes we'll say, oh, I'll deal with that later. If I have a problem, a pain, I'll just go to the doctor and take a pill or take an injection or get therapy or whatever, rather than do the things to avoid the pain to begin with. Oftentimes we don't learn unless it's through pain and suffering, unfortunately. The brain is not going to wait for a start day. It's being shaped continuously right now. And oftentimes we don't notice it. And that is why waiting is a key critical risk factor that's not talked about in health circles. Doctors won't tell you that. Your brain has a long memory. So remember, what you did at 35 will echo in your brain at 75 or maybe even younger. Years of poor sleep is going to compound into inflammation, memory loss. In a module that I teach in Zen Brain Academy, I explain how that will then lead to poor sleep the next day, higher cortisol levels the next day, higher adenosine, that then makes me more tired and groggy. And then I have to dip into caffeine and other strategies just to operate, to function. And not to mention that poor sleep compounds as well into eventually a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. And it's why I've been on record many times saying I expect young millennials down. Later on, we will see a catastrophic rise in early onset dementia because of the habits that we have now. It's not just the food, poor food quality, which we'll mention briefly later, but it's also the habits that we have, how we're overactivating our brain. We're not allowing our brain to cleanse itself, to heal. Also, a disrupted gut microbiome that is quietly stressing your brain, and not just your brain, but your overall health. Remember, the gut there's a large nerve plexus there. There's a lot of communication between the gut and the brain. And it's in part due to the fact that when you do things that are good for you, they're going to feel good. You're not going to get indigestion. You're not going to get upset stomach. No, this is not a Pepto-Bismol commercial. You're not going to get diarrhea. Not a Pepto-Bismol commercial again. You're going to be sending cues that feel good. And your brain will then, it was going to be easy to digest. It's going to feed your microbiome. It's going to allow you to produce the right chemicals that are going to signal back to your brain you're doing the right thing. And your brain will release feel-good chemicals that are going to tell you, keep doing that. You're on the right track. Every time that you do things that are good for you, your brain will produce chemistry that makes you feel psychologically good. It is a built-in mechanism to reinforce good habits and rituals. And is why I've said to be at peace, to be calm, to be happy, etc. All the feel-good things that we want are made, are created. You want the love of your life, it is created. Nothing happens by chance. It just doesn't fall on your lap. Chronic stress is going to keep elevated. We're going to keep those elevated levels through our habits, and it damages us. And chronic stress is related to a myriad of things. I just did a video recently with the American Institute of Stress as of the time of this recording. And we talked about that, about chronic stress over a lifespan. It's not that stress is something bad. We need it to get going. It's how are we engaging stress pathways? We overdo it. We always overdo it. So it's a whole lifespan here. So brain health is shaped continuously from early adulthood throughout your life, interacting with the software of life. The takeaway here is that brain health across your lifespan is going to impact you. At every stage, you have an opportunity to either protect yourself, to build something better, or to break it down, to increase your risk for cognitive decline, stroke, dementia, etc. So here are the 8 factors shaping your brain. Obviously, the 2 silent killers of our generation. You want more information on that? Join Zen Brain Academy, where you can get access also to my books for free. And in those books, I also talk about how stress is not a friend or a foe. How these are the 2 silent killers of our generation. I teach a module on turning stress into flow. How you can be in the flow state more often without compromising your health. Both share the same chemistry, stress and flow. You want to lose weight, you want to have better metabolism? It's impacted by your decisions right now. How are you feeding your microbiome? How are you supporting your whole health nutrition? That's why I was behind the development of Tomorrow. I'm on their science board. I'm part of the founding team because I realized that women in particular struggle with this. They're looking for shortcuts, those injectables, without realizing that those have long-term consequences. There is nothing better than building the right base and foundation. And if you are trying to lose weight, you know what you often do? You cut on nutrition first. And Tomorrow allows you not to cut the cellular nutrition that is the foundation, not just for health, but also for body weight maintenance. We also have environmental, social, economic issues that may relate also to how I feel about, it may impact my mental health, my stress levels, my finances, all of this compounds. I may have been exposed to early life traumas, and those traumatic experiences may require me to do something that we teach in Zen Brain Academy. Maybe meditation, mindfulness certainly will help. Maybe I need some medication to help me. And then I go get therapy as well so that I can help overcome some of those early life experiences. Maybe also even um, hypnotherapy, I have found very useful for clients. So everything that I'm doing really is going to be shaping my longevity. Sleep, we've talked about extensively. Go to some of my previous videos as well. It's in your hands. The gut is talking to your brain all the time. But oftentimes we just eat the wrong foods. We consume oils, cooked, cooked, and overcooked, and that creates a chemical reaction that makes the oil really bad for you. Oils are designed to be a delivery device for plant-based medicines, as well as to be added as a supplement to like a salad or a food. It's really meant to be added at the end, not really used to cook. You want to minimize that, kind of like a heavy oil-based diet. Heavy processed or refined foods, sugars, those are very inflammatory. Reduced gluten is also very inflammatory. You want at least 50% of your diet to feed your microbiome, to be whole, raw, plant-based foods, exactly what Mother Nature offers them to, because they contain the fiber that you don't digest, but that are food for your bacteria. They're better than the probiotic. You can have probiotics as well, but most of them die. The microorganisms, the probiotic, the microorganisms die in your stomach because of the acids. So that's very important. Diet is always critical. You'll see reports about this really, the way that our food system is designed, it's really making us sick. And it's supporting even the rise of cognitive decline and dementia. So every night we get poor and poorer sleep. I've been on record talking about that critical time window between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. How we are bypassing critical time windows where our brain is able to heal, to lower inflammation, to lower stress, to lower acidification. A lot of markers that I teach in a model where I talk about how an overactive brain is shortening our lifespan, is increasing our risk for Alzheimer's disease. Sleep is critical. And if you bypass those early periods of the night, because I'm staying up late, I'm doing myself a disservice, even if you think you're getting enough hours. It also, I've talked about this before, you don't lower the stress hormones. You don't lower a lot of things. You don't flush out adenosine. You wake up more tired the next day. And this compounds day after day, year after year. And eventually you also increase your risk for Alzheimer's disease. People are living older. That's why stroke is one of the leading causes of death. That's something you associate with older age. That will then increase your risk for dementia. So people are living older. And so prevention really is your highest leverage play right now. I am really the model of that. Everything I teach in Zen Brain Academy that I embody, I integrate. I turn 50 in a month. Actually, we're in July already, so actually less than a month, in a few weeks. And it doesn't matter how you look. It's that biological clock that matters, the biological age. Physiologically, how are you? Because of all the things that you've been doing leading up till now. So here's the lifespan brain protocol. 3 daily inputs that will move the biggest levers. Because in Zen Brain Academy, we always say, train the system not just the habit. Eat to protect your microbiome. Those are part of your body. They are not eukaryotic cells, they're prokaryotic cells. They're bacteria and fungus that are within you, and also viruses. Note that diseases already are within you, but is whether you throw off your microbiome that allow one of those to get out of balance, and then you call it a disease-causing microorganism. So eat better to support your microbiome so that you feed the 90% of your immune system that's protecting you from the key source of disease, which is your mouth. A lot of things go through your gut. So add more plant-based foods. They contain the medicine, the pigments that your body needs. Nothing else gives you that medicine. Cut out all of those really processed quick foods, dry foods, dead foods, fried foods, foods cooked twice, things that are chemically altered. At least 50% of your diet should be whole plant-based foods that are going to feed the microbiome and lower inflammation. Step two, protect your sleep. Protect the bookends. I've talked about this in other videos. When it comes to nighttime, have a good sleep ritual and stop bypassing that critical time window. Avoid, if you have problems sleeping, consuming caffeine in the afternoon or the evening. Develop a consistent sleep schedule so that you can sleep better, have higher quality sleep, and lower the load. Lower stress in your life so that you can, it's not about stress management. You can have stress freedom, as I teach in Zen and in my books, but you have to create the right rituals repeatedly, day after day. You know how to stress your body or your brain, and then you recover. Stress and reset, stress and recharge throughout the day. Your next step, join Zen Academy for free. Join our free newsletter. Who doesn't like free goodies? And if you join the newsletter or the academy, you get copies of both of my books if you join the academy, and as well as founders access in the future. And if you stay when we launch the founders, and access to our beta AI app in the Zen Brain Academy. Or if you just join the newsletter, you're going to get really cutting edge content as well as my free book. I've also joined as part of the American Institute of Stress senior contributors for their magazine. And I'll be putting an article out there for digital stress. I'll make an announcement added to our descriptions for future videos and also to the newsletter. So stay tuned. Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. What are you doing right now? Are you going to start tomorrow, or are you going to start today? Build starting today for a better tomorrow. Take care. Stay Zen.